As someone who has always been very lax about how long I work for and what days of the week I work on, one of my main goals for quarter 1 is work-life balance, and part of this means getting at least one day off a week where I'm not working, but for the week just gone, I was aiming to take 2 days off. Now the only issue with this is that with my long-running track record of letting myself work whenever for however long, that means that my routines aren't really established very well to accommodate 2 days off, which did definitely lead to some stress. Work-life balance isn't the only goal I have for myself though, so my priorities list for week 6 was looking like this, and while there was definitely a lot on this list, at least at the start of the week, I wasn't feeling like I'd bitten off more than I could chew. Of course, along with these priorities, we have the daily routines that I'm trying to establish for myself and keep track of, with all of these also being related to my goals. And for the goal of weight loss in particular, I started the week at 91.6 kilos, but to see how that changed across the week, where I ended up, and of course how my other priorities went, we're gonna have to jump back to Monday morning.
Good morning, happy Monday. On the cards for today, we are taking a walk outside instead of on the walking pad because Vocal and I have been missing doing our outside walks together. It's nice to have each other's company, it's nice to get some fresh air. Plus we think if we actually actively stick to doing it first thing in the morning, it won't be too hot and thus too uncomfortable. Fingers crossed. Let's go see. Well, it's a little blowy, but we're making it work.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Keep my hat safe and tie this up. That's why you wear a hoodie with a drawstring so you can secure your hat to your head. Or I guess wear a hat with a chin strap. I don't have one of those. Vaughn has his own solution. Well, our walk was most pleasant. It was nice to be outside, get some fresh air, and because I'm intentionally trying to build up my B-roll folder so I actually have options that are easy to access, got to take a lot of B-roll clips as well. For now though, breakfast, shower, work. Feeling clean, feeling fresh, feeling fed, and most importantly, I need to remember that I have a dentist appointment today. I keep forgetting and start mapping out in my mind like, oh yeah, these are the things I'm gonna work on, this is the stuff I'm gonna get done, and then be like, no, you can't, you have an afternoon plan already. We need to make sure that we don't forget that. The first port of call for the day though, along with jumping into the Epic Goals work along, because it's nice to have that kind of accountability, is just to get my priorities list for the week set up. Like obviously based on the intro, you know what I'm working on already. I don't, so I need to go and pick out those tasks, mainly so I have a little bit of direction in the week. Populating this list really just requires me going over to my goal planner and considering any of the goals that I'm currently working on or like, you know, that aren't already completed and what needs to be done for those. Picking out specifically the ones that I'm doing this week and moving those all the way over into this list because this is the main space I work in each week. Many minutes later, I now have a proper list for the week, so I'm feeling much less like a scatterbrained mess and more like a put together person. I'm looking at this list and I'm already thinking there might be too much on it, but it's cool. I just need to make sure that I prioritize the things that featured on last week's priorities list, possibly the week before as well, and still haven't gotten done, because that is like a bottleneck point. I think in part it's probably just because the task is too big, so if it ends up that by the end of this week I still haven't accomplished it, when I kick it to next week's list, because I still want to get it done, I might break it down to something a little smaller. For now, it's okay where it's at. Hopefully we make progress on it, because even some progress is still progress we can be proud of. But now as I know what I'm doing with the week, it's time to actually get on and do things. In particular, I need to edit last week's vlog. So one of my personal goals for this quarter was to book in a meeting with the bank to talk about a potential home loan situation or something, because Vogel and I were thinking about moving somewhere else. And one of the things that Vogel did, which was kind of semi-aligned with this goal, is booked in a meeting for a property valuation, which is happening in about 1 minute. So I need to kind of get myself to a good stopping point and then go and talk with them about that. We'll see how that goes. Well, we had the valuation meeting, which is essentially us just walking around the house being like, look, a window, look, a cupboard. Super exciting stuff. How do you think the meeting went?
Pretty good. I already thought of something we forgot to mention.
Oh yeah, what was it?
That's a gas heater.
Ah yes. Given that following the property valuation meeting, it was kind of top of mind, I'm like, okay, let's just go and see about applying to have someone come to talk to us about potential home loans and such. That was the easiest thing to do because they don't even ask you to pick a time and a date. They're going to be in touch with you to organize a time and a date. It took 5 minutes, but it's something I can check off almost. I mean, technically speaking, I don't have the appointment scheduled, so I'm not going to check it off, but the process has been started. Progress to be proud of. Yes. I was a little worried there for a second that we weren't going to get this one finished before I had to go to my dentist appointment. But it is 3:41, so I have a little bit of time to spare. Which is good, because I feel like when I get back from the dentist, I'm not going to want to do any more work. So I need to make sure that this video can be either very easily uploaded when I come home or get uploaded before I go, depending on how long it takes to actually export. As per usual, I have fallen into the tendency of being like, I still got time, I still got time, I still got time, forgetting that I actually have to get ready to leave the house. Just let's get ready to leave the house. I always feel the need to brush my teeth before I go to the dentist. It just feels more polite, so that hopefully my breath doesn't smell bad. Do you do the same thing, or is this just a me thing? Well, my mouth is now sufficiently sore. My gums are inflamed. I need to floss more, which was not unexpected. That is pretty typical from my visits. I probably should add flossing to my routines that I'm keeping track of. Ow. Well, I definitely called it, because once I got home, pretty much all of my motivation to get things done just... But I did get my video uploaded, so that's good. And I don't think there's any other work specifically that I need to do today. So I'm just gonna write myself a checklist of things that I need to get done tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow, when I am feeling it, my mouth is less sore, I can hit the ground running. I honestly didn't realize how much having a sore mouth was going to lower my energy and want to get things done. Thankfully though, it's dinner time. Vogel's made us salmon for dinner, so something nice and soft for my sore mouth. Not that that was necessarily the intention, it just kind of worked out that way. And because it is a Monday and that's the day that him and his guys do their gaming and such, it means solo leisure time for me. I haven't decided at this stage what solo leisure I'm going to be doing. Honestly, the first port of call will be putting away my laundry, but we have a world of possibilities. Dun da da da. And exhibit A as to why I really need to fold and put away my clothes, because these are all my leggings and pants and such. They're all black. So when I go and try and get something out of the drawer, they all look the same. Same with all my t-shirts. They're all black as well. One day I may branch out into other colors, but today is not that day. I actually would like to make it a future goal to investigate revamping my wardrobe a little bit, because some of these tops I have been wearing for the past 7 years. I feel like I've almost kind of made it part of my personality. But I think it would be kind of nice to dress a little bit more, I don't know, in what I'm going to call my style as opposed to my comfort zone. But as I said, that's not a right now task. For right now, I need to figure out what kind of leisure I want to do this evening. Alright, I have officially selected my leisure activity. I am going to rewatch Bridgerton while I walk on the walking pad to get to my 8,000 steps, and then after that I'm going to potter around on my computer while I watch Bridgerton. I've already seen seasons 1 through 3 and Queen Charlotte as well, but season 4 just came out and I kind of want a refresher. And yeah, I could just watch one of those, like, you know, previously on Bridgerton type things, but I just kind of want to watch the series again. I'm a big fan of rewatches because you can just be a bit more chill about your viewing. You don't have to really attentively pay attention, and it means you can just do other things during, which is kind of nice. I made the right choice tonight. Thoroughly enjoyable. I got through the first 4 episodes of season 1, so definitely a lot still to go until I'm all caught up to watch season 4. But in terms of first day of the week, fairly successful. Calorie deficit, got my 2 liters, 8,000 steps. It's 10:30 and I'm not in bed, so didn't quite make it on that one. But the rest of them, ding. I am hoping for a productive day tomorrow though, so I should probably go to bed. Good night. Good morning, happy Tuesday. We were gonna go for a walk outside today, but the weather was looking a little grey and Bogle reckons that it might rain. My shoes still aren't waterproof and I really don't want to get them wet. So it's gonna be an indoor walk today, but that's all good. It gives me an opportunity to possibly film some more B-roll because I'm trying to pad out that B-roll library so that future Jess has an easier time, which does mean I need my tripod. So let's go back upstairs. On the cards for today though, work, exercise, all the good stuff. In particular, it's going to be video planning because I'm kind of loosely trying to make it so that Tuesday is planning and goal work day, and then Wednesday is filming and editing, Thursday is live streaming and editing. Mainly because Vogel isn't in the house on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so I don't have to ask him to be quiet so I can film things. For this morning's walk though, I do kind of want to try and get a few more steps in, mainly so I don't need a top up at the end of the day. So rather than going for half an hour, I might aim to go for 40-ish minutes, which if 8,000 steps remains the goal, I might just try and make that a regular part of my exercising, because most days I'll get 25 to 30, but if I pushed into the extra 10 to 15, then I wouldn't have to do a top up in the evening. Kind of like assure myself that I was going to get my 8,000, or it would be more likely to. I do also think it is package day. Yup. That box has a dent.
In this one, I got myself some more moisturizer, this time with sunscreen, so SPF 50, yay. Hopefully that doesn't feel disgusting on the skin and will actually protect my skin from the sun, because I don't really wear sunscreen, or haven't previously. Now I'm gonna, hopefully, if it doesn't suck. We'll have to wait and see. And I got myself some heat protectant spray, because previously I had heat protectant, like, pump cream stuff for my hair, and I just feel like getting good coverage with that was really difficult, so I thought maybe a spray would be better. While this is the brand that I typically use for my moisturizer, so I know I like that moisturizer, I am hoping that the SPF one also works nicely, but I haven't used this heat protectant spray before, so they have no claims as to whether it's actually good. We'll just have to wait and see. Probably should have read that this was a dry heat protectant spray, so you're supposed to spray it on dry hair. I usually put mine on wet. Oh well. The more you know. This is the thing. A lot of the time when it comes to purchasing and ordering products, especially in the kind of like skincare, hair care, beauty kind of realm, I don't know what I don't know. For now though, time for walking. The walk went well, breakfast was excellent, and now I'm feeling fresh, feeling clean, ready to tackle the day, though it is almost 10:30, so one would hope so. I'm trying a new top today. I don't think I like it. It's just very loose in the wrong places, and it obviously has long sleeves. Like, I don't mind a loose top in general, just ignore the fact that my mirror is definitely dirty and needs a clean, but this feels like too loose. I don't know, I think it just makes me feel frumpy. Which I said, I like my tops to be kind of baggy, so I don't think it's just the bagginess of the top, I think it's the fit. I got this top and one similar to it because I'm like, oh, you know, we'll try something new. This is from the brand you like, it's in the color you like, and it's in the size that you get in your other tops from this brand, so yeah, we'll try something long sleeves. Don't think it's gonna stay in my collection. Which I do wish I had made that decision a little bit sooner, like maybe before we went away, because I got this top before we went away and now it's went back. It's like, cool, you've been too long to actually return. So this is going to be a brand new donation, it seems. I'm sure somebody will love it. When I got it, I thought it was gonna be similar to this top, which is, you know, semi long sleeve. So I thought it was gonna be a little bit more fitted and longer sleeved. That was not the case. But even if it's sad that we're not going to be keeping the tops, I do feel at least better having made the decision to not keep them. Otherwise, they'll just sit there in my closet being like, hey, remember this thing you ordered that like totally didn't work out for you? Yeah. And that doesn't breed very good feelings in looking in my closet. As said, the main work plan for today though is video planning and then project work or like goal work related to work. And I'm dragging my feet on video planning. I know it'll feel good to get it done. I just need to get it done. I think I'm gonna try a race the clock mentality. I'm gonna give myself like, I don't know, 10 minutes to try and plan as much of this video as I can. And then once that's done, give myself full permission to move on to planning another one. 10 minutes counting down. Let's do it. As expected, those 10 minutes was really all I needed to get myself going. So at the end of the 10 minutes, I decided to just keep going with the video I was planning already. Sometimes we just need 5, 10, maybe even 2 minutes to get ourselves started with the task, to get over that hurdle of, ugh, I don't want to do it, and just get ourselves stuck in. That idea of action breeds action. So if we're already doing the thing, we're probably gonna keep doing the thing. The trick here though is that you need to start with full permission that you don't have to continue. So in starting my timer, I'm like, yeah, if you get to the end of the 10 minutes, we can move on to planning a different video if this one is boring. It's all good. We're not trying to like trick our brain or anything by saying we only have to do 10 and then being like, haha, you actually had to do 30, because otherwise rebel brain will kick in. Like, no, sorry, I'm a toddler, I need choices. Video planning is going well. I have fully planned this week's live stream, fully planned a video that I'm going to film later this week, fully planned the podcast episode we're going to record tomorrow, and partially planned another video that I'm supposed to be recording tomorrow, so I'll probably have to do just a little bit more planning on it before I actually film it. For now though, we are holding the work boundary and actually gonna go have some lunch. For this week again, I'm having my bruschetta, or tomato on toast with cream cheese and balsamic glaze. Very tasty. And then I think that when I get back to work, I'm gonna want to prioritize doing work, goal work, as opposed to video planning, because video planning is one of those things that it can just spiral out of control and end up taking all of my time, which means that I won't get time to do my work, goal work this week. Also in part because Friday is now a day off because we have a public holiday, we're going to be spending time with the family, so that day doesn't have its work blocks anymore to do like the newsletter writing and email sorting and all of that. So my work calendar's kind of gotten a little condensed. Lunch was very tasty. I also ended up having a little bit of fruit with it. And now it is onto my work, goal work block. I'm I'm gonna change the name. It's my professional goal work blog. That's just a little bit easier to say. And while I do want to use the majority of the time to deck out the B-roll library, what I also want to do is make sure that I can set up my admin person to actually be able to do some admin for me tomorrow, and that is give them a list of all of the calendar dates for all of the membership perks for the team with a capital T, so that then they can put those onto the shared Google Calendar so people know when things are coming out, and also all of the other things that are happening. So like book club meetings, when the book club poll goes up, newsletter releases, live streams, everything else, and text templates to put in the descriptions of each of those too. Part of me thinks that shouldn't take too long, but part of me also feels like it might take longer than I'm expecting it to. Alrighty, it took a little longer than maybe expected, possibly like 40 minutes, but I made a little video explaining what I wanted done. I made the wiki entry of the text templates for all of the different events and updated the entry in the work calendar type thing that we're using to share deadlines and such. Really, I'm just proud of myself for delegating a task. That's the real win in this situation, which means now I can get on to doing the B-roll organization for week 3, I think I was up to. The more I add to the B-roll folder, the just happier I am, because I know it's going to be so helpful for future me. And the best part is, it's all sound free, so I could watch Bridgerton while I do this. Let's go! I definitely should have left better notes for myself, because I forgot coming into this that I'd actually already gone through all the footage and pruned out the ones I didn't want anymore. But it's okay, I figured it out. I did some further pruning, and then I was like, oh, these seem really good. Why are all these really good? And then I looked at how much footage I actually had. I'm like, yeah, you only have 38 minutes. You already got rid of the stuff you didn't want. Because a typical vlog's weekly footage is like several hours. It's cool. I'm in the process of renaming it. This is going to be another week done. And I'm thoroughly enjoying my Bridgerton episode. It's always nice to find work that I can do that doesn't require me to listen to it, because then I can listen to other things. There aren't too many tasks that I do that don't require listening or quiet. So having this one in particular is kind of nice. It only took me 1 episode and 3 minutes of Bridgerton, but this one has been renamed. Got all of the footage that I want, and now I can export it and then sort it into its appropriate folders and all of that kind of stuff as well. But that's another week down. Ha ha ha. We got the part where they declare their feelings for each other, and I am making progress. I've gotten up to the next week of editing. I still haven't pruned it all yet, and then there's, you know, the renaming and such, but progress is progress, and I am pleased. Well, it's definitely not as much progress as I would have hoped for, but I've gone through everything pink, and just this kind of like green tail at the end is what I have to go through. And on my task list for the day, I wrote down 4 weeks worth of footage. I completed 1, and I've done this much of that one, so like this much. But I already knew that this process was going to take me a while. I'm thinking that as part of my vlog editing for each week, I'm going to make going through the footage from the week that I was editing part of this, because I'll have a bit more familiarity with what the clips are and such. It might just be a little easier. But for now, given that it's 6 o'clock, I'm going to snuff out my candle and go downstairs and get some dinner. We're having shroomy pasta tonight. Should be good. A most enjoyable dinner, and we had some apples and ice cream for dessert, which is very tasty. But now it is on to some goal work. In particular, we need to prioritize the different things we want to see when we're in the UK, in particular London, so that we can then start to make an itinerary and figure out maybe where we want to stay and all those kind of things. And in order to do this, we're going to use the prioritization matrix. We used it for our wedding. I've used it for book rankings before. It's just a nice way to get a definitive ranking of preferences. And if we both do it, we can cross-reference the lists that we each make and see what our kind of like combined couples preferences are. And while I could rule up a prioritization matrix on paper and just like photocopy it or something, I'm just gonna make it on the computer. It'll be a lot easier that way. I think we've put in the majority of places we were considering, the ones where we'd actually maybe go do something there as opposed to just walk past and have a look type of a deal. Now to go through and battle them head to head. If you wanted to know more about how the prioritization matrix actually works, we do have a separate video on that one, linked in the description box. But essentially you take a list of items, you pair them all up, battle them head to head, and then whoever wins the most, that's the most important one, or the best one, depending on what you're ranking it for. We did the rankings to figure out which ones were the most appealing, and then we went and looked on the map where all of those things were so that we could appropriately pick where to get a hotel, because we want to be like kind of central, kind of close, easy access to all the things.
And she wouldn't stay in anything that wasn't a Novotel.
It's just like, you know, when you're familiar with a certain hotel chain and you're like, I know the quality of this one. I'm okay with that. More so it's I know what they do for breakfast, and that's important. How goes booking the hotels?
We've got one more to do, team, and then we will have peace.
Or at least accommodation.
We'll have accommodation. Not feeling the best, that's why I'm down here. But I am here for emotional support, so Jess isn't doing it by herself.
I feel emotionally supported.
We've officially done it. The hotels are officially booked for both London and the first part of Edinburgh and the second part of Edinburgh, so I'm feeling good, and that is one thing we can check off the priorities list from this week.
Haha jokes, it's actually 3 because we booked the hotels, we made the prioritization matrices, and we filled them in. So all 3 of those can get checked off. Now we just need to firm up our must-do sites to see, because we do have the prioritization matrices filled in now, so that shouldn't be too hard. In fact, I'm going to do that now. Given that we now have the hotels booked though, next port of call is to start thinking about my presentation for Presentations Day, which ideally I would have thought about a little sooner. I've at least picked a topic now, so that's a start. I've done literally nothing else other than that. Okay, I do actually have a checklist of things I need to do, but I didn't do that this week, so I don't think it counts. I have checked the topic vibe, I have brainstormed topics and picked a topic, and as a collective we have set the target length, so now I need to figure out everything else. I have a sneaking suspicion I'm not going to make very much progress tonight. Originally I was going to tell you about my presentation here, but spoilers, so you don't get to know. I'll let you know eventually, but not yet. For now though, it is 10:30 and time to go to bed. I'm a little annoyed at myself for not getting my steps today because I'm 1,100 off, and I thought I did a pretty good job of getting more steps in the morning, but I guess that just means I was more sedentary in the afternoon and evening. Sometimes it just be like that. Did get my water though, so at least that's something. Anywho, work to be done tomorrow, so good night. Good morning, happy Wednesday. On the cards for today, exercise. Hopefully more steps than yesterday. We'll have to wait and see. And also general work things. I'm trying to solidify Wednesday as filming day in my mind, so we shall be doing some filming, both for the podcast and for this channel. But I never quite got around to finishing off that video planning, so I'm gonna have to do that first. Well, first when I actually get to work after the podcast recording, because podcast recording is first, and first is exercise and getting ready for the day. Opportunity to try out new gear. Walking done, breakfast acquired, very tasty, and I'm kind of hoping that I can get the majority of my work done as quick as possible today, so that then I have more time to work on my slides, because tonight we have Midweek Mafia Hangout, which given the time of year, it's usually Bridgerton marathoning, so maybe no time to make slides, I'm not sure. Tomorrow is date night after work, so time dedicated to spend with Vogel. And then on Friday, we have Waitangi Day, which is a public holiday here, so we're going to my parents' house to do a family board games day. And then Saturday is presentations day. So I'm like, when are you gonna get an opportunity to do this? Because you also need to condense your work calendar from, you know, the full 5 days of the working week or whatever into 4 days because you don't have the Friday. And I didn't necessarily plan ahead for that, but we're not going to let past Jess's poor planning cause a panic for present Jess. That's not happening. Or at least I'm trying to make sure it doesn't happen. Eat my breakfast. I've got time. Feeling clean, feeling fresh, feeling ready to record a podcast. I do prefer having podcast recordings kind of, not necessarily like first thing in the morning because I'm notoriously late, it seems. Something I would like to work on. But it does mean that I don't kind of like squander the first part of my day waiting for the recording. Thinking like, okay, if I get into anything, it needs to be easily droppable. And if I can't drop it, then I'm just gonna have a harder time later or whatever else trying to get back into the thing. By having the podcast recording first, it means that I get that kind of done while I'm freshest and, you know, most energetic typically, and then can move on to the things that are just like solo mode Jess stuff. But one thing about the podcast I do very much like is the fact that it is with somebody else. So it's like actually getting to interact with people during my workday as opposed to just sitting by myself at my computer, tippy-tappy typing or recording again by myself. Anyway, we need to make this room presentable for podcasting. There we go, that's me in the editing software, and this is me actually looking at the camera. And that's the main difficulty because my screen is over there, my camera's over here. So normally when we record podcasts, I need to have my iPad down on the desk or something so I can see things. The podcast recording went well, and then I was supposed to just get into filming the next video or planning for the other one that I need to film, but I got distracted by my presentation. This is one of those projects where I can very easily see it ballooning into something that takes up a lot of my time, and I do not have a lot of time though. So we're gonna do the things I have to do and then do the thing I get to do.
What I have to do is film some videos for my job. I've gotten myself well and truly swept up in the realm of filming, which is good that I'm being productive, but I think rather than trying to, I don't know, rush through the planning of the video that I had previously planned for this Saturday, I already have the plan for the video that was supposed to be coming out the next week sorted, so I'm just gonna shuffle the schedule around a little bit. Both videos will still come out, they just won't come out in the order that I had originally intended. So next week will be goal mapping, this week will be weekly planning routines. One routine that I do need to be mindful of is having a dedicated lunch break because it is now 1:43 and I am still at my desk. So I think I'll just wait until 2 o'clock. I like to do things on the hour and half hour where possible, so 2 o'clock, lunchtime. Until then, focusing on getting some more soft editing of this video done, which I do think it's going pretty good so far. Anything that's in grey on the timeline is stuff that needs to have B-roll or, you know, some clip filmed. In particular, a clip of me setting up the weekly dashboard, so I may not necessarily film that today, or maybe I will after lunch. I haven't decided. I'm just trying to kind of balance the need to get this done with the need to make my presentation, with the knowledge that I don't have a lot of Friday to do work, whether that's work or personal work. So I'm a little bit at the moment. I also need to think about Vogel's Valentine's gift and what I'm gonna get him. And also what we're gonna do for Valentine's week date night. That's not a right now problem though. I need to, you know, get my priorities straight. But if I do want to get him something that requires shipping, I should probably think about that one a little sooner rather than later. Maybe I'll make that a Sunday task. I should probably write that down. Alas, 'twas expected, but my bread has mold on it, so need to figure out something else for lunch. Alrighty, seems like I'm having oven food, but it needs to cook. So I'm gonna use the time in oven to try and get more of this filming done and hopefully get it finished. Finish that setup just in the nick of time. And I'm having little pies for lunch. One of them exploded. I have taken the top off it. It didn't explode like that badly. I guess this one kind of erupted as well, but oh well. They still taste good. It's fine. Lunch is done. I'm gonna do a little more editing because it's about 10 to 3 at the moment. But I think at 3 o'clock I'm gonna change over to doing something else because I do still have time tomorrow to work on both the video and also my newsletter and some other admin work and such. So it should be okay to not completely finish the task today, but I do want to make sure that at the end of tomorrow that one is ready to upload. While I do intend on working on my slideshow during Midweek Mafia today, I think that some parts are just going to be easier on my personal computer as opposed to my laptop, so I do still want to spend some time this afternoon working on that. You know those days where you're just kind of like pottering along, doing your thing, everything's all good, and then you realize you haven't checked in with your planner in a while, and it turns out there is a bunch of stuff that you just forgot you had to do. I haven't finished setting up my live stream watch page for tomorrow, so I'm in the process of doing that. I also need to finish doing stuff for the podcast so that then I can get that footage to the editor. And I had a bunch of other stuff on my task list for today. Some of that's just not getting done because it's for that video that I didn't actually get to finish planning, but I'm starting to feel a little stressy. I don't like it. I think part of the stress comes from having things on my checklist for the day that I know I'm not going to get to, even if I have made the conscious choice to not work on them, to the extent where I'm like, do I just make a new daily log? I don't really have space for that in my current weekly setup, so probably not. Or maybe I just migrate those tasks now, so it's like, hey, don't worry about it. It's not an open task bullet anymore. It is an arrow. It has been moved somewhere else. And then like intentionally move it somewhere else. That actually might be a good idea. I think it'll give me a little bit more peace. Because right now there's a lot of stuff open that's not going to happen. And this is the one I'm currently working on, which was a yesterday task. Well, technically I think it was a Sunday task, but I put it down for yesterday, didn't get it done. So I've just highlighted it to say like, hey, this is important. You need to do that. And of course, I can't be trusted to do the things I'm supposed to do because then I start doing the work that was not even on my list for today and doesn't need to be done until the 18th or a little bit before it, but it's currently the 4th. It's not the worst thing in the world to be ahead in that way, but like, come on, Jess, you have priorities. They're on your task list. Just do those first. Rebel brain's like, nah, stuff you. I'm gonna do what I want. Productive procrastination. The presentation is going slowly, but right now I need to make dinner because my friends are here. And if I don't make them dinner, how will they eat? It just won't happen.
Well, I had a most enjoyable evening with my friends. We had our chicken schnitzel with vegetables and such, had a peach crumble type dessert, which is the first time making it, and it was really tasty. And I've made very decent progress on my slides. Yeah, no, this was still me giving you spoilers for the presentation, so we're just gonna gloss over that and move on to the next clip. It is not quite done, but I am having fun with it. I need to go through each and make sure I've written down and so definitely still some work to do, but I have way more progress made than I had at the start of the day. Yeah, I was intending on going up to bed at a more reasonable hour, but now it is 11 o'clock and I worked some more on my slides. They're looking good, still needs a little bit more, but that's a tomorrow me job because Friday Jess doesn't have time, but Wednesday Jess needs to go to bed. I can't say I did a great job on my routines of focus today, but tomorrow's a new day, so maybe we'll do better tomorrow. I did at least get my water though, and that is something. Anywho, good night. Good morning, happy Thursday. I am really not feeling it today. I'm actually just super tired, super low energy, and know that I need to get stuff done, but I'm feeling very resistant. It's alright, the feeling will pass. I do want to make sure I don't let it hold me back from getting out of bed though, because we have a live stream. I do not want to be late to it, especially because it's about time management techniques. So being late to that kind of live stream, I feel like it would just send the wrong message. Other than that though, on the cards for today, it is a pretty work heavy day. Initially I had moved my personal goal block to the afternoon of today, but I feel like I might have a little bit too much work to do that. We're gonna have to wait and see. It really kind of depends on how long the live stream takes me, because I put in a 2-hour block on my calendar every week for the live stream. Sometimes it goes longer, sometimes it goes shorter. I think that this one will go shorter because it's more like, here are the facts, or like, here are the kind of points, and they're very kind of not scripted out, but like planned out, I guess. Whereas other live streams can be a bit long-winded, chatty, that kind of thing. So I might still get some time to do a little bit of personal goal work, which will probably be taken up by doing my presentation because I don't really have a lot of time tomorrow or Saturday to do it. But as I said, do need to get out of bed. I only ended up doing a smaller walk today, mainly because I was kind of feeling anxious about getting work done. So I'm like, no, you need to get to your desk, you need to get things done. But I also managed to have my breakfast and enjoy that at a not necessarily leisurely pace, but it felt like a little moment of calm, which was good. And we also had a package arrive. So 2 more skincare products that I'm going to be trying out. We'll see how they go. Both of them are from Clinique because I know, like, and trust that brand. This one has caffeine in it. I can't remember if I'm supposed to use this in the morning or in the evening. Given that it's caffeine, I feel like it was in the morning, so might use that today. And then this one here is called a clarifying lotion, or essentially like a twice-a-day exfoliator. I think it's supposed to be quite mild, alcohol-free type of a thing, so shouldn't cause any skin sensitivities. Hopefully. This is a big bottle. I feel like it's gonna last me a while. I did actually used to have this at one point, but at that point in time, I wasn't super dedicated to my skincare system, routine, or whatnot, so I didn't find myself actively using it. This time around, I am a little bit more committed, mainly based out of interest. Like, I'm actually curious about keeping a better skincare routine and doing things that will hopefully make my skin feel and look better. So I'm kind of relying on that want to get me through using this, but I might have to try and think about how to make it super, super easy to remember to do it. So like, you know, keeping it on the countertop in the bathroom, making sure that any of the kind of like, you know, little face pads or whatever that you need to put it on are easily accessible, that kind of thing. And I've also been kind of thinking about how I can make getting my 8,000 steps easier, because that has been something that over the past couple weeks I feel like I'm slipping on a lot. And I know that the first time around when I was keeping track of doing 8k steps a day, that was still a bit of a struggle. And I know it's an average of 8k steps, so it's not like I have to get 8k every single day, but the number of times I haven't is starting to become a bit of a pattern, and I'm like, no, don't love that. So I'm wondering if I intentionally take like a lunch break that includes walking, or if I aim to do some walking right before dinner or something, or if I'm kind of actually paying attention to the little reminders that I get on my watch to say, hey, you haven't moved in like 50 minutes, maybe you should do that. I'm very good at ignoring those. I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'm in the middle of something. So I don't think that that prompt is particularly useful for me at this time.
time, but it does give me something to think about. For right now, I should probably think about going and having a shower because I'm not going to be late to this live stream. Well, I can happily report that I made it to the live stream in time. It lasted about an hour, which is kind of on the shorter side for our live streams, honestly, but I wanted it to be to the point and not kind of fluff around. I wanted to give people the information, which sounds funny, like I didn't want to fluff around, it still took an hour. But that's because I wanted to explain the points well. I'm feeling good about it. What I do need to do though is check in with my task list for the day, because I have no idea what I'm supposed to be getting done. Well, I have in the vaguest senses, but like we've talked about previously, if I write a list, have a list, and have reflected on the list, I am better at my work. And I keep reiterating it because I need to remind myself. Also, I think I forgot to mention, but yesterday I booked my meeting with the bank to talk about home loan stuff, so that's really exciting. That one's happening next week, so that's one thing I can check off of my priorities list. But honestly, I'm a little worried about some of these tasks getting kicked to next week again. Maybe if I am focused on my work today, I could get some more of these done. I don't want to count my chickens before they've hatched though, because I'm feeling like a bit of a stress mess, Jess. Alrighty, I've got my list in for the day and tomorrow, and according to this, both today and tomorrow, the stuff that I need to get done is upload the podcast episode for the next episode, get the podcast episode for the episode after that into the editing folders, write my newsletter for this week, respond to emails, which is like a constant ongoing thing, but I do actually need to do it. Organize the members only live stream for next week, both in terms of picking a topic and setting up the watch page. And I also need to sort out Saturday's video, which I will probably tackle mostly tomorrow, because in order to film that, I need to have my meal plan for the week ahead, and I don't do that until Friday. Friday's tomorrow. So yeah, just a bit to do. But we just gotta get on and do it. Alrighty, I'm gonna see how much I can get done before lunch. I'm gonna have lunch at 1 o'clock. I can do this. Let's do a thing. It is now lunchtime. I have made some progress. I uploaded the podcast episode to YouTube and Spotify. I prepped the footage for the next episode for the podcast, so that's looking good. I finished the video for Saturday and got that one uploaded, including thumbnail and title and all the good stuff. And then I started sorting my emails, which I responded to 20 emails and deleted more because some of them just didn't need responses. And that only took me like 20 minutes, like 1 minute per email. I have so many emails. It's fine, that's not a right now task. Right now, lunch. For lunch today, we have my tomato toast and we're just watching some YouTube. And I'm on to my second bottle of water. But as I was preparing my lunch, I was kind of thinking like, oh, it's gonna be really nice to get away from tomato toast because I just feel like I need a change up. But now as it's made and it's in front of me, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited to eat you. But I am gonna do something different for lunches next week. I'm thinking I might do Thai mini chicken patties with a cucumber salad. I think that would be quite nice. It feels summery as well. Lunch done, very tasty. That was done a little while ago now because now I'm writing my newsletter for the week. But I've been sitting here just like fiddling with my hair because it feels gross. Like, okay, it doesn't look the worst, honestly, but it just feels bleh. And I don't necessarily know if it's related to my heat protectant spray that I just got because I tried that one out today. And yeah, it's supposed to be used on dry hair, so I just used it on wet hair because I'm like, no, I got the heat protectant spray for my hair drying, so kind of needs to be wet to use it, otherwise what was the point? So yes, I technically haven't used it in the correct way, and I'm not sure if it's actually the heat protectant spray or maybe my hair just needs like a really good wash. But it feels yucky and I don't like it, and it's distracting me, which is why it is tied up now. How frustrating. But the newsletter is coming along. I'm hoping to get it done soon because it would be nice to have some time today to dedicate to working on my presentation because I have not finished that and I will not have all that much time tomorrow to work on it. And I still need to practice it and that kind of stuff too. We can get this done. I believe in you. Alrighty, so I just wanted to share the realities of what my planner can often look like on a day-to-day basis. So today is Thursday, right? Did the newsletter, awesome. Did live stream, awesome. Did the podcast, awesome. But also did the weekly planning routines video and did my meal planning and such. And sure, I could take all of those tasks and move them over to here so it's a more accurate record of like, yeah, this was Thursday. But I honestly don't think it's worth the time, effort, and energy that I would expend doing that. I can see the list when I'm working on Thursday. I can see that it got done, and that's what's more important to me. It has definitely taken me a hot minute to get to a point where I would be happy with that in my planning. Like, I don't have to have that really accurate record of this happened on this day, this happened on this day, so on and so forth. But more than anything, I'm just glad that things are getting done. Today has felt like a productive day. There are still things to do, but I think I'm going to move on to working on my slides. The presentation making is going well, and I've made these for the people who are going to be coming along to the presentation day. But now it's time to go to date night. In fact, it was probably time to go to date night about 6 minutes ago, but it's cool. We're still going to get there and we're going to have a great time. We are back. Date night was good though. Did you have fun?
Yeah, we got to meet new people.
Yeah, we got to sit at a table with a couple and their kid, and they were very friendly. We chatted to them and such. What's happening now though?
Finances and then fun.
Finances and fun. It would only be better if this was Friday. Finance and fun Thursday.
Yeah, let's do fun stuff on Thursday.
Yeah, I ate it. Our finance meeting went well. We were both in the know in terms of where our finances went in January, the categories that we overspent in, the things that we were under budget in, the areas of our budget that have not been budgeted appropriately because we continuously overspend in them, food out. And we've also set some kind of like soft objectives for ourselves in terms of things we maybe want to be a bit more mindful of moving forward. But for right now, we maybe took a little longer than we thought we were going to having the discussion. I think in part it's because we haven't had one in a while in terms of our finance meeting. And this was also the first one with this new format where I'm using a kind of template that I made for us. We did like the template. We made some slight adjustments to the template for next time, but we were going to play some Until Dawn. We probably don't have a lot of time to do that this evening, so instead we're just going to watch some Critical Role. I'm making myself a little snack. It's going to be good. And we're just going to go hang out, chill in bed with my snack, watch some Critical Role.
Yeah, Critical Role.
We will not get very far into this episode because we also want to make sure that we get a good night's sleep.
Definitely. I would like that.
And I also need to make sure to update my 5-year journal because it has been some days. Good morning, happy Friday, happy Waitangi Day. It is a public holiday here in New Zealand, which means Vogel is home, which means we can go for a walk together outside.
Yay! Walking time! Where is he?
Our walk was most pleasant. We managed to get it in before the wind really picked up. And because I ran out of berries today, I had to have sounds like a negative thing. It was not a bad thing. I had stewed fruits with my yogurt instead, which was actually quite good. So it's nice to know that I have more options for fruits and yogurt pairings for later. But for now, I need to really get this show on the road because I need to finish my slides today before we go to hang out with family and do family games day and all of that kind of thing, because I just do not want to leave any slide making to tomorrow when I should be, practicing through it and then getting ready for presentations and whatever. Plus it would also be nice to do some other things today and before presentation day tomorrow, whether that be in the space of work or goals or whatever else. But I kind of feel like this week I felt like a bit of a scatterbrained mess in a way. In part, I know it's because I was filming a video about my weekly planning routines. So I, for the sake of not having to film a bunch of clips across the entire week, I was kind of batching them together. But that meant planning for days in advance to show myself filling in the planner and not necessarily knowing if I was going to be able to do those plans on those days. To the extent where I was kind of tempted just to like completely redraw up some of my daily logs so that then I could get a better picture of what I was really planning on doing on those days. But by this point in the week, I don't think it's super necessary. I said though, for now I need to go and have a shower. And I keep thinking it's Saturday and keep tricking myself into thinking like, oh god, presentation day is today. It is not, you have time, it is okay. Shower done, hair done, and I tried to use my protectant spray again today. It's feeling a lot nicer, but I also did like double wash my hair because bleh. So I'm undecided about this one, mainly because it's really hard to spray. And I'm like, is it just because I'm like super weak or something? But pressing down to actually get it to have anything come out, super difficult. I need to like go and do wrist and finger muscle work or something to build up the strength needed to actually use this thing. It took a while, but I have officially finished my slides. So like title slide, and then we go to the so people have some references. I'm feeling good about it. I think it's gonna be a bit of fun. I have a sneaking suspicion that mine might not necessarily fit within the time restriction that we initially set for ourselves, but I still hope people enjoy it all the same. What is also exciting is that I got a package from the washi tape shop. I've only opened one so far. It's got little flowers, it's pretty cute. So I need to go through that at some point and figure out which one I might want to use for my March setup. Not that it's anywhere close to time for my March setup. Well, I mean, the weeks are getting on, but that at the very earliest is a next week me problem. Right now, me problem is getting lunch together so that I can eat that and we can head off to family games day. I feel like all of that stress that I was harboring for the rest of the week, where I was like, oh my god, I need to get things done, yada yada and such, has just kind of dissipated now as I've got my slides done. But another funny thing is that I continuously forget that we are doing presentations day tomorrow. So I keep saying to myself, oh, you've got like a full day off tomorrow, you've got nothing going on, how exciting. It's like, no, you do. You just didn't put it in your calendar. This is why we put things in the calendar so we don't forget things. Vogel has done us a great kindness though. In preparation for our departure, he has gone and downloaded the Critical Role episode we were watching so we can watch it in the car. In the sense that he'll be driving, so he'll just be listening. I might watch the screen. I don't get particularly motion sick or anything like that by watching things in the car, so that should be fine. But with the length of Critical Role, it always does feel like quite a commitment each week. I'm enjoying it though, so like a fun commitment, but still something that I have to kind of like schedule into my week. Not to say that I'm opposed to scheduling fun, because then at least it actually happens. But I think that we are definitely at risk of falling behind. Most enjoyable day with the family though. When we got here, they were playing some kind of like Dungeons and Dragons game, which looked pretty cool, but it's only 5 players, so we didn't play another round of that or anything. We did, however, play Hues and Cues, which was a lot of fun, with some very interesting explanations for some of the colours. We also got to play Secret Hitler, which was a good time. Had a very tasty barbecue for dinner and chocolate ripple cake for dessert, which I haven't had chocolate ripple cake in like years. If you don't know what a chocolate ripple cake is, it's essentially chocolate ripple biscuits, which is a type of like cookie-esque type thing, like a hard cookie. And you put alternating layers of the chocolate biscuit and then cream, like whipped cream, and then cover the whole thing in whipped cream after you make it into a log. So eventually the cream kind of soaks into the biscuit and gives it a kind of cakey consistency, and so it's chocolate ripple cake. Very tasty. But in general, it was just like a nice day off, had some time with the fam. We've organised to have another family games day in March, and I've also organised to go down, well, I guess technically up, and see my dad for a kind of like him and me games day, because we do like tabletop games together, you know, with little models and such. But right now I'm just trying to get to 8,000 steps because it has been too many days since I actually hit 8k. I think I might have hit it on Monday, but since then I haven't. And I'm only a couple hundred off, so I'm just doing laps in the kitchen. I hope that I get there soon though, because I'm so tired. It is past 10 o'clock. We got in at about, I don't know, maybe 5 past 10. It's now 20 past 10, and I would like to be in bed by no later than 10:30. So doing quick laps to hopefully get past that threshold. We can do this. We can make it happen. Got it done. Got my 8,000 steps, and it's only 25 past, so yeah, getting into bed. Well, getting ready for bed, getting into bed, going to sleep. Good night. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Happy Presentations Day. It is the day we have all been waiting for, or at least the one that I've kind of been nervous about for the entire week, because I'm like, oh god, are you going to get your slides done? Is it going to go well? But I think it's going to go well. I'm feeling good about my presentation. I notoriously get stage fright doing presentations though, so hopefully the actual presentation part goes fine. It is just with a small group of friends, so I think we're going to be okay. But any presentation where it's in front of people I don't really know, that always makes me a little
little nervous. Up first though, on the cards for today, we of course have walking, keeping the streak alive. We're gonna be doing our walk outside because it doesn't look like it's raining, doesn't look like it's too damp or soggy out there, so it will be nice if we get some fresh air. And then of course, like, you know, getting ready for the day, all of that kind of stuff. The actual event itself doesn't start till 3, so we have some time to do some stuff before we go, which is pretty good. Our walk is done now. It was most pleasant, but also I saw a tiny mushroom, which I personally thought was kind of exciting. It was very just like unassuming, popped up out of nowhere. But we have my yogurt for breakfast, this time just featuring blueberries instead of blueberries and raspberries because we ran out of raspberries. And I also didn't want to get more because I know I'm changing what my breakfast is going to be next week. And if I got raspberries, I probably wouldn't use them all, and then it would just make the start of the week a little bit like messy. It's not a major problem, it's just one that I would prefer to avoid. But something I definitely need to prioritize doing today is just writing some plans in my planner, because yesterday as part of family games day or whatever, we planned when the next one's gonna be. I made plans with my dad, I made plans with my mum, kind of a thing, and I need to write those down. Because yes, while they are in my calendar, they also affect other plans that I may have had for any given week. And if I don't record them in the places where I'm making those plans, I will forget that they're happening. Watching my typical Saturday morning live stream went very well. I've gotten most of my weekly for not next week, but actually the week after set up, just because I was feeling like I wanted to do some journaling, and I have been enjoying the structure I've been using this cycle, so I figured I'd just continue with it. It's been working. I might end up changing it up in March, but for now, it's all good. The constant conflict in my mind between wanting to do something with my day and just wanting to relax, and letting both of those lead me to a path of doing absolutely nothing. Let's go get ready for the day. You feel gross. We need a shower. You being you possibly don't feel gross. Shower done, feeling a lot fresher, but now I'm in one of those fun periods of time where I'm waiting to attend an event, and I don't want to get stuck into anything because I feel like I might miss the event, which I know consciously, like logically, I know that won't happen. I know I will not miss the event, but figuring out something that I can do in the meantime that doesn't feel like I couldn't just step away from it, that's what I need to make my brain feel a little bit more at peace with doing something. One thing I've also kind of noted throughout this week with, you know, trying to fit my work into a slightly shorter span of time so that I could make the presentation and have family games day, and then also, you know, have today off for presentations day. It's very much that idea of the Pareto principle, like work expanding to the amount of time you give it, but then also pairing that with our own kind of practiced routines and habits around doing our work. And because I have for a very long time been the kind of person who just lets my work take up as much time as it does, which typically means working pretty much every day of the week, like not necessarily having dedicated days off. And now coming to a week like this where I'm trying to take 2 dedicated days off, I'm feeling this kind of pressure of, oh my gosh, you haven't practiced getting your work done in that shorter span of time, so this feels really hard, or feels more stressful at least. So I'm kind of thinking that as I continue to practice trying to get my work done in a shorter span of time, making the most of my time, not being as perfectionistic as I typically am, I will get better at being less stressed around trying to get work done in a 5-day work week rather than a 7-day work week, but it is still something that's going to take me some time. Thinking about the Pareto principle though, it does have me thinking about how I can time box or like time restrict some of my work tasks specifically, rather than time restricting the week as a whole. So rather than saying, okay, here's the full week, these are the amount of hours you have to work, and this is the stuff you have to get done, instead going kind of in the reverse, like these are the things you have to get done, let's time restrict individual parts of that and then slot those into the weekly schedule you have for yourself. I think that will also very much help next week if it's a strategy I employ, which I'm planning to. So like, you know, I expect to do that, because next week in particular, I'm going to be preparing for the week after, which I'm kind of calling leisure week. One of the things that I have also noticed about myself is that I have a tendency to binge things. So whether that be like, you know, TV, games, work, I am much more the type of person who leans naturally into, rather than let's take every evening off, you know, finish our work by dinner time and have each evening off and refill my well that time, I would rather just take 2 dedicated days off. Or in this case, I'm aiming for a soft week. It'll be a week where I still get things done. I'm still working because there are some work obligations that happen every single week and I need to be there for them. But outside of those set kind of blocks of time or things that I have to do, I'm hoping to go a little bit slower in those weeks. But because I'm going to be going slower, I need to prepare in advance because I have this kind of like practiced routine of just working all the time. Hopefully that made sense. It at least makes sense to me. But for now, in the interest of not doing a lot of work today, I'm gonna write myself a
work task list for tomorrow, so that then at least I don't have those things kicking around in the back of my head like, oh, should be doing this, should be doing that, need to prep this thing, need to get that thing out. If it's written down, then my mind can be more at peace. Very important task for today is putting in the grocery order so that we actually have food for the week coming. Oh no, I fell in my sauce. Well, the grocery order was going well, and then we decided not to put one in because there's really not that much we needed ordering, so we might as well just go get it, not be like beholden to a certain time of pickup. But also, tragedy has struck. Sickness-induced postponement has occurred. We are not going to be doing presentations day today. We're going to be doing it next week on Valentine's Day, because there's nothing more that says I love you like forcing your friends to watch a presentation that you made for them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little sad that it has been postponed. I understand why, like, you know, inevitable or whatnot, but I'm still a little sad about it. So in the interest of getting myself going again, because it took all the wind out of my sails, like I have no motivation to do anything, I'm going to take the approach of action breeds action. I'm gonna do a little bit of meal prep in the sense of making up the dry ingredients for my overnight oats, because that will feel like something that is an accomplishment, that is a win. At the moment I only have enough containers to make up 6, but I only have enough oats to make up 4, so I've gotten out 6, put all the other ingredients in. These 2 in particular are going to be cinnamon flavored, so they have a little sticker on them, or a little piece of tape, just so that I know the difference. And I'll add oats to these ones when I can. I figure the ones with the cinnamon I can top with stewed apples, which would be kind of like an apple pie flavored overnight oat, which would be pretty nice. Whereas the other ones I can top with my pineapple and my mango peach compote thing. Again, very tasty. So things to look forward to. I do love overnight oats. Well, we can also move these things over because I don't need to do that today. I don't need to do that. And part of this was done, so I'll do a half cross for that one. We have now done the grocery order in the sense that we're not going to be doing one, but I do need to add go get groceries because I'm going to be part of that now. In the interest of still using the day in a way that feels like I got something done, what I do want to do is organize some little gifts for the reading retreat that I'm going on, because there are only 4 people going, and one of them is me. That's only 3 little gifts that I need to make, but I thought it might be nice to gift them a notebook and maybe some supplies or something, because one of the things that I very much enjoy about reading is reading journaling, so I thought maybe gifting on something like that would be kind of cute. Once they have it, I mean, they don't have to use it as a reading journal, they can use it for whatever they want. But I do like the idea of making the event just that little bit more special because of gifting opportunities. I just need to figure out which notebooks in my stash I am okay with giving away, because I recently decluttered a lot of them, and the ones that I would normally default to being like, oh, that could be for somebody else, I don't have anymore. I was like, oh, what's this notebook? It's too precious. I can't give that one away. To help me out a bit, I just asked them what their favorite colors were so that then I can pick a little bit more strategically. But I was kind of thinking maybe this one, because it's a nice dark green and it's pretty and it feels kind of reading journal adjacent. I had this one, which is more kind of, I'm thinking light romance reader type deal. And then also this one, which is the ink and quill. So all of them kind of like, you know, small cute icon designs. I thought that would be kind of nice. 2 linen covers, 1 faux leather. Maybe these? I might pick out different ones depending on what they come back with, because if they all say, oh yeah, my favorite color is hot pink, then I'll find something else. Okay, I've now heard back from 2 of them, and both of them said that green was their favorite color, so this one will definitely be staying. I just need to see if I can find another green notebook in my stash. I think that this one is going to make the cut. It has the little planter box on it with the little botanicals, which is kind of cute. And then I have the other 2 there as backups if they prefer them, I guess. I figured that I might take some extras along just in case they like those more. They were like, oh, okay, I thought green was my favorite color, but that notebook's actually really pretty, so I want that one instead. It's good to have options. Alrighty, the third person got back to me. Her preference is blue. So I was thinking either this one with the hand and the stardust, or we could go with this one, which is that kind of storybook, fairy tale-esque looking design. It's cute. It's very pretty. Maybe I'll just take both and they can pick. I might just take both and they can pick. For now, I'm going to put it back on the shelf because this is my backdrop. With this extra newfound time in the day though, I am also setting up my journal for when I actually go away on the retreat. One of these is going to be for a packing list, one will just be for a general brain dump, and then the rest of it is going to be a kind of want analysis space to figure out what were the wins from the month, the aversions, my needs, and to try, all in relation to my planner setup, so that then when I come and set up for next cycle, I have that information there for myself. I find that kind of reflection really important for helping me set up my notebook in the best way possible to help me with my goals and projects. Because if I don't do that, I just put myself on autopilot, I use the same layouts regardless of what might be going on in the week, and they aren't always necessarily best suited to what's going on in the week. Like maybe it's a particularly busy week and I need more writing space or more planning space or something. Maybe it's a light week, but there are a lot of memory making opportunities. And then I want to be able to record those memories in my planner. If I don't have a space for them, I won't record them. If it wasn't already super obvious to me that I needed a new floor mat, I think that this has sealed the deal. Sigh. Yeah, I just put the piece back in. Good as new. What I think I'm gonna do now though is make my weekly and daily skincare plan, just mock up something in Notion. Because I already did the research, so it shouldn't take too long. And then I will have a more concrete kind of list of the stuff that I will in theory do on a regular basis to take care of my skin. Alrighty, this is what we've got so far. Will I do all of these every single day? Yeah, nah. But I do want to actively try doing some of them every single day and kind of see how the products work for my skin and how they make my skin feel and all of that kind of thing. And then over time probably develop something that's a little bit more akin to what I can keep up with and works for me. As a starting point though, having the list of products in the order that I'm supposed to apply them feels good. So that is the daily plan that I can check off. Still need to think about what a weekly plan would look like. Oh, it's also probably good to note that not all of those should be done every single day either in the daily routine. I'm gonna go and add that to my plan. Otherwise, I might, if I somehow manage to be really consistent with this, which I'm not actually expecting, but if I somehow manage that, it would be good to say, hey, if you did this yesterday, don't do it again today. Like if it's only supposed to be used 2 to 3 times a week, maybe I specify, oh yeah, on, Tuesday and Friday, this thing happens or something. At this stage, I don't want to get quite so rigid with it because the likelihood of me remembering to do it on those days is slim. I don't necessarily have a very good prompt for myself. But what I'm kind of thinking is like making some type of printout, maybe getting it laminated and keeping that in the bathroom drawer where I store my supplies, because then I can be like, oh look, it is Tuesday, I should be doing yeah. Oh no, it is Thursday, I should be doing yeah, or whatever else. That is definitely a future me problem though. Right now I just want to get the kind of basics of what the routine could involve down. Started writing out my weekly routine ones, and really the only thing I can find is like do a face mask and do a lip scrub and exfoliate your face. But I already have a daily exfoliator that's really gentle, so I don't think I need to have an additional exfoliation step. Meh. Because I feel like if I did a hardcore exfoliation like on a Sunday or something, I would just irritate my face. I don't want to irritate my face. I don't have an exfoliator for anywhere else though. So maybe like a body scrub wouldn't be bad for like body exfoliation, because I don't have a body exfoliator, maybe. But otherwise, the weekly routine's looking pretty slim. Body exfoliate, maybe a lip exfoliation if I really, really want to, and then maybe a face mask. The idea of doing those every single week, I already know that future Jess probably will not be super consistent with that, but it is a nice thing to come back to and be like, hey, if I wanted to like pamper myself a little bit this week or do some skincare this week that wasn't one of my kind of daily routine things, what could I do? And that's really what the list is that I'm trying to make here. But that is another one that I can check off. What I have also gone and done is update the operations assistant role description document, just so that then all of the information in there is up to date, which means I can check off the finishing of the role description. And while I could work on these things right now, it's almost 6 o'clock. So it's probably just a tad more important that we go and do the groceries and get dinner. I am hungry. I also need to remember to order Vogel a Valentine's gift. I keep forgetting to do that. Time to get some groceries with Vogel. Yeah.
Oh, look how cool my glasses look.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But you know what's even cooler?
What's that?
It's Guess the Grocery! This is a game that Vogel absolutely loves. That is not me being sarcastic at all, because essentially it's just an opportunity to get very familiar with your grocery bill. Things like, what was the most expensive grocery? What was the cheapest grocery? How many groceries were under $10? How many were over? Those kind of things. The actual questions change every time, but usually there's a question for the cheapest and most expensive. Don't you love it?
We're going to play this till we get dinner, so pray for me, everyone.
I hope dinner takes a long time to arrive because there's so much guessing to be done. Well, after a very pleasant evening on the couch, watching some Critical Role, hanging out with Vogel, got my steps in, which was very good, and finished my 2nd liter of water, I'm thinking that it's time to go to bed. I also used the opportunity to get the last part of Vogel's Valentine's gift, so that is on its way.
like in theory. I mean, I ordered it on a Saturday night at like 8:30 p.m. So it's probably not quite on its way, but it's soon to be on its way. I also took the opportunity of the evening at home to prepare my yogurt for tomorrow and also prepare overnight oats for the first 2 days of next week. So even though the day didn't necessarily go how I had initially thought it was going to, I feel like I was still productive and made the most of my time. Well, I made the most of my time. I think I'm just gonna have to admit defeat on this because it keeps popping out, but then it's just gonna get so much worse. Like, not that it isn't already kind of bad. Every time I roll over it, it's like crack, 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 crack. But it is quite frustrating. Not gonna lie, kind of feels like a future me problem. For now though, it is almost 10 o'clock and thus time to think about getting to bed, especially because I would actually like to keep my 7 a.m. alarm time tomorrow as opposed to switching it off, which is what I did today and yesterday. I did enjoy the sleep in, but I don't want to get back to the 7 a.m. of it all, mainly so I have time to do the exercise and get ready for the day before the team hangout, for the team with a capital T. Or essentially an opportunity to just hang out, do some journaling together and whatnot. I think I'm going to be working in my journal, like populating next week, and also maybe doing some reading journal work, and then maybe getting started properly on my digital declutter, which I'm kind of excited about. But of course, want to be well rested for that. So, good night. Good morning. Happy Sunday. On the cards for today, exercise, get ready for the day, team hangout. And then also some meal prep, which is really just making raw chicken patties that I can cook later in the week because I already did my overnight oats. We love being ahead on things. Walking time. The walk was good. Now I've got my blueberries, yogurt, and muesli for breakfast. What's the difference between muesli and granola? I should probably look that up. I'm yet again reminded about the fleeting nature of feelings today because getting up, I was like, I don't want to do anything. Everything is hard. And then after my walk, I'm like, okay, things aren't so bad. And then after breakfast, this is going to be a great day. I feel like I'm going to get a lot done today. I haven't jinxed it. I've decided I haven't jinxed it. Some days I feel like I need the business bun to help hold me to being productive. But today I'm going to let my hair dry down and just kind of risk it. I think it'll be okay. I think that hanging out with the team will be a very good opportunity to just get some computer stuff done and start my digital declutter more formally. I'm wondering if I start with photos to get suckered into memories with that though. I might hold off on photos. I will start with an easier task. Hello, how's it going? Yeah, I thought I'd use today to start on my digital declutter because I was supposed to work on that in Q4 and it just never really happened. So this is my digital declutter list. I'm gonna start, I think, with OneDrive because it should be straightforward. Like, these are all in order, so easier. For some of my files, it's really just taking the document that's on my computer and transferring it over to Notion because it's just going to be better over there. Whereas for some other ones, it's really just about deleting it, getting rid of it because it's not relevant anymore, obsolete, don't need the information, don't need the file, whatever else. I wonder how long it's going to take me to do my OneDrive. It's currently 9:27 though, so my bet is on maybe an hour and a half. See if I can get it done by 11. I am slowly but surely making progress on this one. So far I have 244 items, but it is 11 o'clock. And I notably haven't quite finished this list. Though I have actually done this one now. I'm kind of considering changing these folders to be, I don't know, more about life area than the breakdown I have here, but for now they're still working. I've just gotten up to doing my shared folder, and the only thing that is currently in my shared folder, outside of one file, which I already got rid of, is a folder of all of my school files from like when I was a teacher, and I think it is time to let those go. Some of these, it's like experience year 9 day. I'm not going back to teach at that school, and I'm sure that they have new materials for that now. We've got things like, you know, Bloom's taxonomy stuff, learning objective resources, new teacher academy handbook. I'm like, I do not need a new teacher academy handbook. There is a lot of stuff here, like 2021 science help room timetable, 2020 course timelines, seating plans, sports results. Why is this? I know exactly why this, but it's time to let go. Alrighty, I gave it a little longer, started deleting some of my school files. I can't delete very many of them though, because I need to wait for brother to tell me if he wants any of them, and he is notoriously great at responding. So, sweet. But at this stage, I have deleted 1,350 items, possibly more, because maybe some of them are in folders and whatnot. That's not too bad. I've only finished 8 of the checklist items on my list so far, but that's still pretty good. Now I just need to figure out if I want to keep doing this or if I want to move on to something else. And I think that
An easy win would be deleting apps off my phone. So anything that I really am not actually using can get deleted, which will be kind of easy to tell because I turned it on, or I turned on a setting that it removes applications from my phone if I'm not actively using them. So all of those ones that are on my phone, like in the emblem, like, or the icon is there, but aren't actually stored on my phone, they should have a little cloud download icon right next to them to say like, hey, if you actually want to use this, you need to re-download this app. I turned that on, I don't know, last week, the week before, or something like that. So anything I haven't used since then, I can take off. I do not predict there's going to be very many apps, but some is better than none. Well, I only ended up getting rid of 3 apps, but 3 is better than none. I don't really have that many apps on my phone to start with, so it's really not that much of a problem. What I do need to do though is go through and just rejig the entire setup of my home screen, which is not a today task because that requires too much brain power. Officially time for lunch, and I think I'm also going to take the opportunity to do my meal prep because it is just making chicken patties. I'm like fluffing around with my hair because I let it dry and now it's all curly wavy. Grrg. But maybe doing some meal prep as well, even if I don't necessarily eat that meal prep today. For meal prep, I'm making little Thai chicken patties. So we've got some coriander, spring onion, the chicken, and some lemon zest. And those ones get served with a little cucumber salad. Lunch was most tasty, but now it is back to doing stuff. So hanging out with the team with a capital T. But also seeing if there are any other of my goal actions I can do while I'm hanging out with other people. Sometimes you need to, sit in silence and process things or whatever, but there are definitely things that I could do with other people. I think in particular, doing these 2 would be good. So reviewing the end of year survey results and then planning for my ongoing content balance. Or essentially how much planning versus productivity versus personal development versus whatever else. So I went through and reviewed the end of year survey data, and then I've used that information to write up a document for myself just called My Channel Niche, where I'm essentially thinking about, what do I want to make videos about? What is the kind of value that I want to provide to you? And just thinking about like content buckets and whatever, or pillars or topics that I'm making content about. And I'm kind of excited because I think that means that I can not only check off the fact that I reviewed the end of year survey, but plan ongoing content balance is something that I think I may have figured out for myself. If we're thinking about content balance, it's kind of like, okay, cool. You have 3 videos per week. 1 of them is a live stream, 2 of them are pre-recorded and edited down or whatnot. And across a cycle, 4 weeks, you have 12 slots. So that's 4 live streams, 8 videos. We then also have the additional 2 videos that get made for members only. But with that kind of like, basis of how many slots I have, how many of those do I want to dedicate to different types of topic? So for instance, 1 per week, so 4 a cycle, that's going to be the progress vlogs. So showing you how I'm getting on with my goals and putting into practice the kind of techniques and tactics we talk about in other videos. Thinking about the other ones we have though, what kind of balance do I want to have between the planning type videos and productivity and tips about getting things done kind of videos, and anything else I want to make videos about. So in my mind, roughly a third of it is goal, tactics, and action, because that's the progress vlogs and showing you how I'm getting things done. But for the other ones, I just need to figure out what I want my balance to be. I at least have my buckets though, so that's good. Well, I have officially made my new balance kind of plan, I suppose, in terms of content. We're thinking productivity, planning, personal development, or essentially the stuff that my channel's always been about, but it always leaned very heavily planning. Now I want to have more of a balance between the 3 so I can bring more value. But that means that next week I should be able to make more progress in that channel niche goal, in particular, like rewriting my channel mission statement and description, all of that kind of thing. I'm feeling very excited about it. But that is another thing we can check off the list. After finishing up that task though, I was kind of like, okay, cool, I'm done for today. I feel like I've been productive enough. But then I realized there was draft invoicing system on here, and I'm like, I can do that. That's gonna take me barely any time. We do not need to kick that down the road to future us. And by that I mean future me, because I don't think you possibly really need to draft an invoicing system. But anyway, that one is done. I'm feeling very positive about it. I still need some details from my, what we're calling operations assistant now. I like that term better because it's more encompassing of the fact that she's doing admin but also editing, so operations rather than just administrative stuff. But I need some details from her on there before it is finalized, but that's okay because I didn't say finalize on my list for this week. I said draft, and that has been done. I swear half the time I say draft, it sounds like giraffe. Bow, wow, wow, wow. Yeah. One thing that I wanted to do that I never really got started on was writing down my work tasks for the week. I was going to try and list out any time I did a task for work, just so that I can start to think through like which ones of these need to be me, which ones could I hand off to her, yada yada. Started the list, quickly forgot about it, didn't actually do it, so that one we're gonna scrap for this week or kick down the road to next week. Yes, I just said I don't want to kick things down the road to future me, but that one is going to be a lot easier to do from the start of the week rather than trying to retroactively think of everything I did this week. It'll be easier if I keep up with it throughout the week. So in a way, although it is giving a task to future me, at least it's going to be easier for future me to do rather than current me to try and do retroactively. Yeah. What I can do though is brainstorm delegatable tasks because I've already kind of started on that. It's just going through and making sure I've done a thorough job of it. And brainstorming tasks like those are often the ones that kick around on my priorities list for quite a while because I just feel like I'm never finished with it. So I want to get every single possible idea out of my head, and I let that just kind of linger on the list, continue on for many, many weeks, and I get caught in this. I know it's perfectionism. I know it's just because I want to have a complete list before I move forward, but realistically, then you just get stuck in this kind of procrastination because you know the list isn't perfect, it's not completely finished, it isn't fully fleshed out, so you don't let yourself move on to other steps which would probably inform you enough to add things to that initial brainstorm. This is a process that I very much fall into time and time again, something I am slowly training myself out of. But for now, we're gonna do some brainstorming. After 8.5 hours though, the team hangout is done. Very good time just hanging out with people, getting things did, which I feel very good about. I think that I did make decent progress today. I'm still going with my brainstorming. I already had some ideas written up because this is something that I just let linger. But what I actually found was a kind of old document where I had gone through and written out all of the work tasks that I could think of that I often do. And I'm essentially just going through and thinking, okay, does that need to be me or can I add it to this brainstormed list? For now though, I think it is time to think about making dinner. Oh, wait for me, I will come and help. He disappeared. What a
Tonight for dinner we are having schnitzel and veg because we have leftover schnitzel from when we had schnitzel and veg on Wednesday. Made myself a little iced chai because I was feeling fancy. Oh yeah. See, I'm really helpful. I'm helping by staying out of the way. We officially finished Until Dawn, and everybody survived. Because I was pretty good about reading the walkthrough. I don't want to make the wrong choice. But while we watched the kill count for Until Dawn, I got back on the walking pad to do just a couple more steps so I could actually hit my 8,000. Huzzah! Got my 2 liters, tracked my food for the day. Definitely wasn't underneath the calorie deficit, but it's okay. We're not aiming for perfect. What I am aiming for, though, is getting into bed by 10, because that one I would like to check off on my tracker. And plus, I'm tired, and it would be nice to hit the ground running tomorrow with a little bit more energy. So, now for something completely different. But if I pushed for the I really don't want to spray this up my nose, but I wanted to see how it smells.
So crooked.
It's not that crooked.
It's so crooked.
That just is just... I don't know why you're flashing. I don't know if it's flashing on your end, but it's like strobing for some reason. Given that we now have the hotel booked. Ugh. Sooner rather than later. Oh, I walked into a wall. After all of that, oh, look, little ghost. So cute. Should really get him out of the cupboard. I cannot say I did great on my routines of focus this week. This day. Oh, I need my wallet. Not enough hands. It took a second, but I have officially, wow. At the moment, I only have enough characters, come on. Chaya. Our walk is done now. Crack. That was my wrist. Did at least get my water though, and hit myself in the face with my bottle.
You're a Goomba.
I'm a Goomba.
You're a Goomba.
I don't know what that means. If you're ever wondering, that is not a bug, it is a nail. It has been here since we moved into this house. I just haven't found anything to hang off of it, and if I take it out, there's a hole in the wall, I'd rather just leave the nail there. But every so often, it catches me out when I'm doing this kind of filming, like, oh my god, a bug. No, not a bug.
Did you lock the door?
I've only finished 8 of the checklist.
After 8.5 hours after the I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking. Oh, no wonder it's confusing. You're down there. Hello.
Hello.
Another productive, though a tad stressful week. In terms of priorities, these are the ones that I managed to accomplish. And while not everything was done, given how worried I was about getting things done in general throughout the week, I'm pretty pleased with the progress that I made here. As for the routines, we definitely did not have 100% completion, but that's okay, because the aim isn't perfection, it's just making sure I'm keeping these things top of mind and getting them done more days than I'm not getting them done, which was thankfully the case for the majority of my routines. In terms of weight, I started the week at 91.6 and ended at 90.8, so tending in a direction that is aligned with my goals. I'm definitely hoping that next week doesn't end up quite as stressful as this one seemed to be, though I also feel like it's gonna feel like another busy week because I'm gonna be preparing for my week of leisure, or my soft productivity week. To see how that one goes though, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on the next vlog. And if you wanted to see all of the ones we've had in the series so far, then this playlist is the next one to check out. That one contains all of the work I've been doing on my goals across this round of the Change Your Life Challenge, so click or tap on that one and I'll see you over there.